But the running back spot has changed, right? And particularly at LSU. Think back the last couple of years on who that player has been. It's been a rotating door. It's been a rotating name. It's been a rotating face of characters of guys that have come through that have, made their way. Here specifically this season, I think you kind of line up with the same onset, right? Josh Williams feels like the guy that is the most trusted. Armani Goodwin feels like the guy with the biggest hope. I think that they're hoping that Armani Goodwin can stay healthy for an extended amount of time because he may end up being the guy that they put out there the most. Josh Williams would be, right there in the mix. And then you're talking about a couple of freshmen in Caleb Jackson and Trey Holly that are getting some opportunity. You put John Emery into the mix at some point, and you figure whatever you get out of him is kind of gravy at this point in his career. Is
he practicing?
No
practice room.
But
game time only.
Better be practicing school.
Yeah, that's it. Just get that done, man. But
office hours.
You think about what's going on here with the spring now. You just mentioned John Emery's out due to some academic concerns and taking care of his books. Josh Williams has been dealing with an injury, and he's been as close as anybody of getting back. And whether or not he's back at some point is still yet to be determined. But Armani Goodwin's out for the remainder of spring. He's not going to go through the drills. He's still rehabbing. And Jackson's still at Liberty, graduating, not on campus. The one person that is in Baton Rouge, fully healthy, taking part in all the drills, getting all the reps, getting all of the coaching, learning all of the installation is North Louisiana native Trey Holly, who got down here at spring and is, being fed through a fire hose right now. He's drinking out of a fire hose. It's coming at him a million miles an hour. He's getting run over by defensive ends. He's out of position in blocking schemes. He's not where he's supposed to be the majority of the time. But, as he gets his ass handed to him by Frank Wilson, he's also learning that I can't screw this up the next time. And the beautiful thing about Trey Holly is that at this point, there's nobody behind him. So if you screwed up on first down, well, hell, you got to get back out there on second down and figure it out. So for Holly, I don't think that you have this major expectation that he's going to be the leading ball carrier or yardage gainer against Florida State. But the reps that he's getting right now are very much kind of off the radar from people expecting, spring storylines and things to take place at this part of the year that, I think is definitely a kind of an effect of where they are. And Holly will pay a lot of dividends from this. I think that he'll experience a lot of success from, what he's learning right now. The leg up that he will have come fall of getting these reps and learning Denbrock's offense and learning how he wants, or Frank Wilson wants him to line up on certain packages and, beginning to learn terminology and blocking schemes and all of that stuff. Not only that, just kind of learning how to navigate campus. And that's a huge stressor for a freshman coming in from a different place in a small town where, you're not used to a big campus and, having to walk and find your way around the quad. It's a big advantage for Trey Holly to be here right now, and the reps that he's getting, the knowledge that he is soaking up, and the experience of being out there, it can't be replicated. It cannot be. It can't be taken for granted. That's a great opportunity for Holly, and I know that he's being told that and that he understands that. But just kind of a story that we may not really touch on or talk about a lot, but it's definitely there, is the amount of reps that Trey Holly has been able to get here in his first spring practice.
We didn't mention Noah Kane.
Didn't even mention Noah Kane.
Tough. Unforgotten.
But Kane is, like you talk about roles, Kane's kind of an inside the tackle type guy. Put your head down, get you a
Goal line
type, short yardage situation. I mean, he's, the running back room has gone from a area of high concern to, depending on how these freshmen develop, to a pretty healthy position. I mean, I think Goodwin will be ready to play in the fall, and I think Josh Williams will obviously be ready to play in the fall. Noah Kane is there. We mentioned John Emery. Whatever you can get from him would, kind of just be considered extra at this point. And then, you got Jackson coming in from Liberty, and you got Trey Holly, the state's all-time leading rusher, and, already on campus. I think that, just from a numbers standpoint alone, you're in a much better position, but you've also got you got guys that you really trust. I mean, you got guys that, they really trust Josh Williams. I think they really trust Armani Goodwin. Pending him being healthy. And I think Noah Kane at the end of the season showed that they really started to value the things that he brought to the table. I don't think that Kane was playing so much out of a necessity standpoint. I think that he was out there because he gave him some good stuff. I mean, he was able to run the ball and be tough to tackle, and he was the best blocker that they had. And if you're going to be a predominantly throwing team, or you're going to try to run spread, you got to have somebody back there that can help protect.
That's JoshWilliams.com.
That's him.
If you have to pick one that you would see back in the backfield for game one, it's Josh Williams' job to lose, right?
I would think so. I think depending on how Armani Goodwin his offseason goes, and then he's got to be healthy in fall camp to put up a real stiff competition. But I think it's a combination of Josh Williams and Armani Goodwin, and obviously I think Noah Kane's going to play a lot. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to play a ton
because it was Armani's job. It felt like it was, if he doesn't get injured, he was kind of snatching that job away from everybody. It seemed like he was becoming the featured back last year.
Yes,
and then he gets hurt, and then you see the kind of cascade of a cast of characters that come in. You see Emery, every time he touched it, he's trying to score. Then you see Josh Williams just kind of be so steady that they couldn't take him out because and it goes back to what you said with pass protection. And if that's what what you're getting with him every time he's on the field.
Yeah, without question. I know, and I think that's what the coaches want.
Yeah,
they want to know.
Emery's kind of mercurial,
hit or miss, and he's also
about to get this thing and jump over somebody.
I want to say through the first 7 games, John Emery was the only guy that had fumbled.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like they had a certain amount of fumbles for the majority of the season, and all of them were from.
It was
Emery.
Auburn. It was the first game. It was the first fumble they had all
and then
season.
He fumbled again later in the year. I mean, it was it's just that is the stuff that
frustrating.
You can hit home runs all day, man.
But what time are you striking out?
But yeah, I mean, your strikeouts are bad. I mean, they're just.
It makes me sad. I love John Emery.
So do I.
I know.
I mean,
I'm a hurdle you.
I just want him to
I'm about
do well.
to do everything I can to cross
Get in that end
line.
zone. First and 10. Not to me.